Let's get it.
Hey, it's Bryan with DD214 Transport. Please like, subscribe, hit the little bell for notifications. If you guys are trying to figure out how to get in this industry, sit back, take a minute and watch this video because we're going to talk about some straight up stuff today. All right, so tonight we are talking about a lot of me, really, from Marine to trucker boss. The raw truth about starting a hotshot company. I'm going to tell you the truth about it. I'm going to tell you the ins, the outs, the do's, and the don'ts. How to lose money, how to make money. We're going to get to it. All right. So this evening, before we get started, we want to thank our veterans and first responders for all they do and all they continue to do for this country. Thank you very much. We truly appreciate the service. Gas prices, diesel prices are down to $3.12 on a national average. $3.12.7. That's 3 3/10 cents from a week ago. Okay. All right. We are in the middle of something, and I didn't know about it. It just kind of bypassed my my screen, and we are in the middle of our Road Safety Week. Started June 2nd, going through the 6th. So we got a couple more days of it to go. And I wanted to go through this with you. It's road safety is everyone's responsibility. So Monday, they had distracted driving. Everybody was looking for anybody with handheld devices. Okay. That's why you're seeing all these DOT inspections going on right now. It's almost like Blitz Week out there. I was pulled over a few days ago and given a level 1. All right, Tuesday was safety belt. You know, guys, you got to have your safety belt on. It's a huge fine for a CMV. It's even a bigger fine. So let's make sure we buckle up. That was yesterday. Today is share the road with large trucks and buses. Okay, they're looking for, at this point, they're looking for either other CMVs, large CMVs that are making, unsafe movements, or cars making unsafe movements around CMVs. Okay. Tomorrow, work zone safety. You can guarantee with all the road construction that's going on across the United States, they're all going to be monitored. So if you're going through a road, construction situation, please step back and follow the signs. Make sure you're following the signs. Even if you're in a hot shot, whether you're in a big rig or a hot shot, those road signs pertain to you. If it says trucks, right lane only, if you're a hot shot, that's you. Because as soon as you add those DOT numbers and the MC number on the side of that truck, you're the same as a big truck. You must follow the big truck signs. Okay. Just because you're in a Littleworth truck doesn't mean you're not a commercial CMV. All right. And Friday, they're looking for speeding. So slow down and maintain a safe speed. There's no sense in speeding. You're not going to gain anything with it. So slow down. That is this week, going on today. All right. In other news, the CVSA has announced the Brake Safety Week will take place August 24th through the 30th. Inspectors to focus on drums and rotors. Drums and rotors during the week-long nationwide brake blitz. Okay, drums and rotors. I want to tell you, that means if you get pulled in, you can guarantee they're going to have a slider up under your trailer looking at your shit. So you got to make sure that stuff's right. All right, Brake Safety Week. Again, during Brake Safety Week, CVSA certified officers will conduct commercial motor vehicle inspections with an emphasis on brake systems and components. Vehicles with brake-related out-of-service violations or other out-of-service violations will be removed from the road until the violations are repaired or otherwise corrected. Okay? They're telling you when it's coming. All right. CVSA just announced it has introduced its out-of-service criteria for the English proficiency. Shit, that's me. You know, when I got pulled over the other day, they didn't ask me about it. So not sure what they're doing. But yeah, if the driver cannot read or speak the language sufficiently to communicate with a safety official to respond to official inquiries and directions in accordance with the FMCSA enforcement guidelines, 391.11B2, declare the driver out of service. I think for all the American and English-speaking non-Americans, I think this is a good thing. If you can't speak it or you can't read it, you can't read a road sign. So I have no problem with that. All right, pictures of the week. This is in from Steve, and I'm not sure what this little go buggy is, but it's kind of cool looking. I think I'd like to have him drop that off at the house. Here's Robert. This is actually yesterday. He's picking up and taking this little excavator and another truck, excavator and truck to a client of ours. He's got a full load there. Oh gosh, who was this? Goodness gracious. I got to start writing these down. I'm pretty sure, I don't know what it is, but I'm pretty sure this is Robert Slow. Another Robert. We got 3 Roberts on here right now. This is Noel. I know who that one is. And that's me getting my level 1 DOT the other day. Sure enough. Boom. Under the hood this week. Equipment reset. It's a 6-month, guys. So every 6 months, I clean out my truck, I reset my truck, and I make sure everything's there. I have everything I need. I get the stuff out I don't need. But every 6 months, I do this. And I've been through it 2 or 3 different times. So far this month, just kind of figuring out exactly what needs to go. And I changed out some sockets I had that I really just didn't like. So I got rid of those and just general reset. Make sure you know where everything's at and what you're carrying. So I do that every 6 months. We're doing general office work around here, and I'm doing some dispatching. So that's sort of what we have going on this week under the hood and behind the scenes. And so we'll get on for a second. Let me say, hey, just real quick, Mr. Wagner. Hi, bud. Glad you're here. We'll answer that question in a few minutes. Jay Ford, Mr. Ford. It's Jerry. Yeah. We got Michael.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We got some questions here. We'll answer in a few, and I want to go over some things, but I have to get out of that box quick because I'm glad everybody's here. Really appreciate you coming. I really appreciate you being here. So, all right. So tonight we're going to talk about the truth about starting a hotshot trucking company in 2025. And the first thing I want to talk about is just simple the fact that everything you've done in life, good or bad, you need to bring to this. Okay. Whatever experiences you have, uh, I'm a retired Marine. Um, I'm retired from the federal government. I retired from trucking. So when I initially got into this business, to be quite honest with you, I was looking for something to do. I didn't do it for money. I didn't do it to start a YouTube thing. Uh, I'll give you the history on it. I had shoulder surgery, two of them back to back, was out of commission for how long? 2 years? 2 years, yeah. So they pretty much did everything they could do for me, and I was basically just retired. And I was sitting in a chair, and I looked at Mila, and I said, "If I don't start something and get up and do something, I'm going to die in this chair." And it was killing me. I had to get up. I couldn't just sit still. So I searched and I searched, and I had a friend of mine talked to me and said, "Hey, there's a company out in the Midwest that you can haul campers for." And I looked into that, and I didn't see any money in that. You know, understanding that coming from a trucking background, I've got a good bit of experience with the business in general. And as I look at it, I'm like, man, that's 50% deadhead. I'm not digging that at all. So I talked to those people for a minute, and I didn't feel good about it, so I didn't do it. And I just kept looking. And the next thing you know, Hotshot came around, and I started looking at a couple of these videos online, and there was this guy out there. His name was, what was his name? Oh, Toe Piglet. Yeah. So Toe Piglet was out there, and I was watching some of his stuff, and I couldn't make his numbers add up. So I actually started this YouTube thing to make sure I had the right information out to people, and it wasn't just clickbait or bullshit or that kind of stuff. I wanted to give people an opportunity to really take a hard look at this thing and see if it was worth messing with. So I started the business, and I never intended to have it grow like it grew. I never intended to have my own driver and my own truck or have an additional truck with a driver. I never intended on having things lease on, but we are where we are, and this is what we do. So, all right. So what I wanted to kind of go through with you is just to sort of show you some of this stuff, just real quick. Everything I've done in life has led me to this place in time. We were very poor. I mean, we didn't know we were poor, but we were poor. And I don't know how old I was in that picture, but I'm the little turd in the middle. And those are my two cousins. So, you know, uh, we grew up a good life, and that was the beginning. At 16, my father loaned me this Ford F-750 and flatbed. It had a 20-ton winch on the back of it, 40,000-pound winch, big old 1-inch cable on it. And I was hauling scrap cars at 16. I was using chains and binders before I really even knew what they were. I just knew that they were a pain in the ass to use initially, but I learned a lot about load securement. So I brought this little piece with me through life. I went to the Marine Corps at age 17, and there I learned discipline. And you learn that being an adult sometimes is getting up and doing the shit you don't want to do because it has to get done. And the discipline that I learned was that, you do it. You get up, you adapt, you overcome, you think through the situations, you make things happen. That's it. It's not going to get done unless you do it most of the time. So I had my own photography business for a while. So this is business ownership. I'm bringing this into it. You don't know the old cat dog there. That's Richard Petty. I did a lot of NASCAR stuff, did a lot of motorcycle stuff. But I had a good time with that. And, it had its time and it went away. So it was an experience. And this is something too, as you go through this, having some business experience helps. Understanding how to deal with clients and those sort of things is going to help you. All right. If you don't have it, you can learn it, but it's a little bit of a learning curve that you're going to have to go through. All right. So I went to the government, and here we are. I'm with Department of Homeland Security. They're not allowed to take many pictures there, so that was the only one I really had. And I learned to deal with that just chaotic bullshit's what that was. But it's still another learning piece you bring into it. So also, once I left there, I went into trucking because I was bored. I'll give you a funny story real quick about me getting into trucking. I was retired from DHS. I'd done all the time I could stand, so I was retired, done, and I was watching Judge Judy 4:00 in the afternoon when a commercial come on about truck driving school. And I thought, well, shit, I can do that. That'll be fun. That'll give me something to do. Always looking for something to do, mind you. If you hear the tone in there, something to do. So I went to truck driving school, and that's how I did that for a decade. So that's actually me doing a local delivery here in town with that 40-foot truck. It was a 40-foot truck with a lift gate on it, and here I am in this little teeny neighborhood. All right. And then, like I said, sitting in the room in there, and Mila and I were talking about it. And I was like, I got to find something to do, and this is what we're doing. So tonight we're going to talk about, the pros, the cons, those kind of things. And I really want you guys to listen. You're not going to hear a lot about money here because what money is to be made is going to be on your back. So if you succeed at making money, you will. If you're lazy, if you got $1 million dream with a minimum wage work ethic, you're not going to make it. And that's a fact. Okay. It's just fact. Don't do it. You're getting ready to stick $100,000 in this bitch. So no. All right. So back to the stage. So here you go. Hotshots, the pros. Number one, you can be your own boss. Now, this is a sword that cuts both ways, guys. If you're your own boss, when you're your own boss, this is what happens. You're the first to show up, you're the last to leave, and you're the last to get paid. Okay? That's being your own boss. If you have no work ethic and you don't have the ability to think out of the box and to overcome and adapt and to seek mentorship and to seek help, being your own boss can kill you quick. Okay. You can set your schedule. Yes, you can. As long as you're available 24 hours a day, you can set your schedule. But let me just tell you, as a business owner, I have my team out there driving. I'm on call 24/7. If they call me, I'm answering the damn phone because that's what we do. And that's the nature of this beast. Okay. When we went on the honeymoon, we worked. We were there and we worked. Okay. It wasn't just go, shut the phones off, you're done. Doesn't work like that. When you start this business, you are on it and you're on duty. So understand that going into it. Real money for real hustle. And that is the truth. Real money for real hustle. If you're willing to work, please don't listen to people throwing money numbers at you. Okay. I had a guy tell me that somebody told him he could make $10,000 to $15,000 a week in this deal if he bought this truck and this trailer. And by the way, it was a $150,000 setup. Okay. Now what's going to happen? As soon as he does that and he gets with these people, the market changed, or you're not running enough, or there's going to be an excuse. So if somebody tells you that kind of horse shit, and it's horse shit, people, if somebody tells you that kind of stuff and throws those kind of numbers at you and seem convincing, then what you want to do is simply say, okay, as long as you'll guarantee it and put it in writing. And you'll stop that shit quick. Watch how fast they backpedal. Okay? No. In this business with a Hotshot, 40-foot long Hotshot, you can do $4,000 to $8,000 a week. Okay? That's what you can do. It's not a joke. And it depends on the driver. The more senior the driver, the longer he's been there, normally the more money he'll make. The newer drivers make a little bit less on our side because they're in their head. You remember, their first 90 days, you're going to be in your head. Everything's new. You have to think about how to do a BOL, how to look at a rate con, what you're supposed to do when you're there, what you're supposed to do when you drop. See, so you're in your head. And when you're in your head, you're slow. Once things become muscle memory, that's when you start doing it. Now, I've seen the better drivers, or the more, what am I looking for? The more successful money-wise drivers are the ones that go through that 90-day period, get that muscle memory. Or the drivers that have had driving experience and only really need to learn the load securement stuff. If you've got some of this stuff coming in, it's going to make it a lot easier for you. Okay. If you have business experience coming in, if you've got truck driving experience coming in, load securement experience coming in, if you have this kind of stuff coming in, you will go through that learning curve much faster, and you'll get away from that $4,000 number pretty quick. Okay. All right. Let's run back. Oh, my bad. I hit the wrong button. The market is wide open for people who play it smart. And when I say play it smart, I say get into the business correctly. You don't go buy all this new equipment and spend outrageous amounts of money and think you're not going to work for payments. You know, you have to get in the business correctly. You have to keep your expenses low. You got to keep your overhead low. So if you can get into this business correctly, then look, man, you're on top of the game. If you get into this business wrong, meaning you've over leveraged yourself, you don't have enough liquidity to run, you don't have enough liquidity to keep cash flow coming in and out. If you can't do those few things, you will fail at this. Okay. The other thing is, if you don't have your family on board with this situation, you will fail. I have my wife, I have my son, I have my other son. He's not really on board, but if I need his help, he's there. And I have my daughter, and she's coming up. I'll have her doing something eventually. She'll be running fuel numbers or something. But yeah, you have to not only, because this is a business and not just a job, you have to include your family in the business. And if they're not a part of the business, then there's a separation there. You got to make them a part of the business. Okay. All right. Here's your cons. Everybody knows the first one, high fuel cost. All right. High fuel cost. Fuel is your number one expense in this gig. I said it last week. I'll say it this week. If you're not managing your fuel expenses, you're fighting a losing battle. Okay. You are absolutely fighting a losing battle. You have to stay on that fuel. You have to take a minute and go to the cheapest fuel options. You've got to stay out of this truck stop mentality, because that's not what you're paying, that huge 50 cents a gallon tax on everything. So if you can get that through your head, that's something you have to do. It's not a I'll do it when I can. It's every time you have to do it. All right. DOT, FMCSA regulations will eat you alive if you're sloppy. Okay. It's a proven fact that it will absolutely eat you alive. And I've got a driver right now on the cusp of being let go, because every time he goes out, he's a walking damn service violation, and I've just about had it. So it's one of those things where you have to make a business decision, and you got to be able to make tough business decisions. And not all business decisions is going to be user friendly. Some of them just suck, but you got to do them. And it's just what it is. So, all right. Late pay, shady brokers, long nights on the side of the road. Okay. That's a bunch to take in right there. Late pay, I want to tell you right now. Now, mind you, I knew very little about the backside of this business when I got into it. There is so much that happens back here on the, you have the front side, which is shipping, receiving, driving, load securement, and all that. That's the front side of the business. The back side is insurance, shady brokers, late pay, all this other stuff. We ended up, we have a team now that works on late payments. That's what they do. That's all they do. So you have to understand there's more to this than meets the eye. There's more to what you see to be successful than even I knew about when I got into it, because I have learned so much since I've started this. All right. And you don't know it. And if you don't know how to secure a load, you're a lawsuit waiting to happen. And that is a fact. Things you got to remember, guys, is that load securement is not my way of doing it. It's DOT's way of doing it. Every load, every item has a specific way it has to be secured. It depends on the weight, depends on the length. It has to be secured to their specifications, or they'll put you out of service for a unsecured load. Okay, so understand that going into it, that this is not something you can learn in a minute, but you got to learn it on the fly, and you better know what you're talking about. All right. All right. Tips from experience. All right, guys. Number one, keep your overhead low. Keep your overhead low, guys. You know, don't go out and buy $100,000 pickup truck just because it says platinum on it and think that's the way to go, because it is not. You need a work truck. Okay. You need to always be a student of your craft. And this is what I was just talking about, is that I've learned so much in the years that I've been doing this, is that you have to be a student of your craft. You will learn something new every day. You will see something. When I run by a flatbed, I am constantly looking at them. I want to know, hey, is this load secure properly? Is there is he doing it a different way that maybe I could learn from? Those kind of things. Always be a student of your craft. If you have time off sitting, waiting on a load or whatever you're doing, get the load securement regs out. Read them. Take time to study your craft. All right. Keep an eye on your pennies. Your dollars will take care of themselves, but keep an eye on your pennies. Make sure that look, this is as easy as I can make it. Money is a fickle little bitch. Remember this saying, money is a fickle little bitch. If you don't pay attention to her and you don't take care of her, somebody else will have it. Okay? Pay attention to your pennies. Pay attention to your expenses. Everything. Pay attention. Get a good accountant. Get a good bookkeeper. Pay attention to this stuff. Now, one thing I will tell you is my bookkeeper and my accountant, I pay well because I expect them to do a good job. So understand that these guys, you pay them well, you do what you need to do, and you make sure they do what they need to do. Your equipment is your business partner. You treat it better than you treat your cousins, because your cousins will make you help them move, but your equipment's what makes you money. If you're not doing a proper pre-trip, if you're not doing proper preventative maintenance, that stuff's going to bite you in the ass. Okay. If you do a proper pre-trip and you notice a light that is out, guess what? You don't get rid up on the side of the road. If you do a proper pre-trip and you notice that you have a seal leaking, you don't blow a hub. You know, a seal's $40, $50. You start dealing with a hub and putting that on, and you're dealing with $1,000. So understand the difference between knowing your equipment, making sure your equipment is working properly, and just getting in and driving. because this is not what it's about. You can deal with an issue in a parking lot a hell of a lot better than you can deal with an issue on the side of the road. Okay. Make sure you know. You got to make sure you know the regulations to these things as well. Okay. Now, drivers, the guys that work with me, I don't have anybody working for me as far, well, Robert works for me, but still, you respect them, you respect your drivers, but you hold them accountable. They're responsible. They are your face. And if they aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing, then you have to get rid of them. And you just have to get rid of them, because I've been known to give too many chances. That's one fault I have that I am alleviating now. I brought my son on as the director of safety, and I push this over to him, and I flat ask him, "What are we going to do?" And he gives me his recommendation. So, and I try to follow it, because there's no use having your son on board as he's a state trooper. And I just, I trust him. I believe in what he says. So that's what I do with it. All right. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the ins and the outs. Let's talk about all the things that we can do and things that we shouldn't do. Now, I will give you the most truthful answer I can give you. Okay. You got to forget the clickbait you're seeing out there. You got to forget the people that are just trying to get views, that are throwing numbers, unrealistic numbers out there. And for those out there that want to try to get in this business with pie in the sky numbers, and that's what I call them, is pie in the sky numbers, that is going to get you in trouble. Okay. If they say you can make, I'm saying you can make $4,000 to $8,000 a week, and if you go base your market or your budgeting on $8,000 a week, you're going to fail. Okay. If you want to do something, you mark it down as $4,000 a week. Anything better than that's gravy. Okay. So if you're, when I started this company, I really just started it looking for something to do. We have been very successful for what we've done. We're in 3 countries right now. I don't know how many people we have working for us. I would have to go look. We have about 15 trucks on the road. And, it's one of those things that grew organically, grew naturally. Anytime we tried to force more, it set us back. So we settled in and just let it grow. People come and people go, and we just let it grow organically. How are you doing, miss? Have we got any questions over there? We got a question? Well, let's have a question. Mr. Wagner. All right. I'm debating on getting out of Hotshot and stepping up to a Class 8. That's a semi. Business seems to be going well. What's your opinion? I don't have an opinion for you as far as your Class 8, other than I do have something for you to consider. Okay. Class 8 has 3 times the operating expense as what you're running now. Okay. The cost of getting in one is going to be higher. The cost of maintaining one is going to be higher. The cost to run one is going to be higher. So you got to make sure that if that's the case, the money that you're getting out of that will be high enough to cover it. That's it. run your numbers, make sure it's right, and go from there. I wish you all the luck in the world, Jacob. You got anything else? All right, Michael. Hi, everyone. What has been your experience with the different classes of trucks, durability? How many miles can get from a 1 ton? You do the okay. All right. So we've got I normally don't push or um, pull one way or another. I will tell you that uh, Chevrolet hasn't done our drivers very well. Ford would be second place, and Ram with the Cummins HO engine would be my pick if I was driving it. Now we have a 550. Is Robert in there? Is he in the room? No. We have a 550 out there that's pushing over 300,000 miles at this point. And I had to put a turbo on it. I mean, stuff's going to wear out at 300,000 miles, guys. I had to put some hubs on it, so on and so forth. But, you know, they're lasting. As long as you maintain them and you repair them, they're going to be fine. I don't know about a Ford. I don't know how that works. Just don't have enough enough data to give you on that. But yeah, if anybody else has anything to say about it, I'd like to hear it. We'll put it up here and yeah, if you abuse your equipment, you're just kicking money down the toilet. That's all I can say about that. But yeah, thanks, Michael. Gary Townsend. All right, going back to load securement. Is there a book, or would you recommend load, or that you would recommend? I would recommend this. Go to the FMCSA website and go under load securement, and their regulations are right there. Read them. I mean, it's public knowledge what they require. So yeah, I would do that. I would go there. And let me tell you again, every type of load is different. Every type of load requires different types of things. So understanding that it will help you out a lot. Thank you, Gary.
The previous comment, Michael.
Yeah, Michael.
He got F350. So.
Okay, that's it. Okay, so somebody out there, who is it? Throw it up on the screen so I can see it. Hi everyone. I got that. Okay. Oh, I got an F. Well, what's your experience on? If you got the F350 diesel, I don't know how many miles you got on yours. Does anybody else in the group have a 350? No, nobody else has it. So, Michael? How many miles are you running up on yours right now? Just let me know. What you got? Johnny Glory. I'm currently a flatbed truck for P&S. I'm looking to outright buy a new 450 or 50 XL or XLT. I'm going to finance a 40-foot 40K trailer. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you did a little bit backwards for me. I financed the truck and bought the trailer outright. And I did that so that I would have working capital on top. But either way you want to do it, it's fine. But buy one and finance the other, one or the other, and keep those overhead expenses, that nut down to as low as you can get. I recommend $2,500 to $3,000 max on your monthly overhead. This is an expensive, very expensive project. And again, you're starting a business. And there's not very many businesses where you can start and, within just 90 days or so, you have good cash flow rolling as long as you run. But things you got to realize, if that truck's not running, you are not earning anything. Okay, you can't buy the truck and park it in the driveway and think that's going to make you money, because it is not. The difference between, if you buy a truck, the difference between an asset and a liability is this. If that truck is sitting in your driveway, it is a liability. If you're using it to go get groceries, it is a liability. When that truck is pulling a trailer and a load and you've got a bill of lading in your hand, that truck and trailer become an asset. Okay, because now it's making money. It's paying for itself. It's putting money in your pocket. So keep that in mind when you buy things. Don't go out and buy these high dollar trucks. Okay, so that's not what you need for Hotshot. Chris, thank you for chatting with me earlier today. Yes, sir. New fan out of Washington State. Hey, that's cool. Chris, we got Richard out in Washington State as well. I appreciate you showing up. If you got questions, throw them at me. We've got a few minutes here. We can get them answered for you. Thank you. All right, Shaneed Muhammad. Peace to you and blessings to your channel. How do you feel about the F5500 or the F550 with a 53? I will tell you too. Okay. Let me get a sip. Hold on a minute. You okay? Okay.
It's coming.
It's coming. All right. So F550 is a good truck. Well, I mean, we've got the 5500. Okay, but what we found was with the 5500, number one, it rides like a road wagon. When I'm calling Robert and he's on the phone, it truly sounds like he's rolling that truck over every time I talk to him. It's just rough. It's got the extra thick frame on it. Okay, a different set of gears. You're going to get less fuel mileage. Now with a 53-foot trailer, what we found was that it's too much for the truck. It's just too much. You lose everything you might gain in length, you lose in weight and fuel mileage. So when we're dealing with a Hotshot setup, your best option is, if you want the 550, have the 550, but it's a rough riding truck. And a 40, 35 and 5, which is 40-foot trailer. Okay. With mega ramps and air ride. That is the trailer we found of choice. The reason is that trailer is about 8,000, 9,000 pounds. Okay. It allows you to put about 18,000 on the deck, 18,500 right in there. Now, you get to 53, the trailer goes up in weight, and you actually don't gain any weight on the deck because of the trailer weight. Then you're losing in empty miles, you're going to lose that extra fuel when you're running down the road. So, Shaneed, what I recommend is coming off of that 53-foot step deck, not doing it, backing up to a 40, and that's my recommendation. That's where we found we got the best overall mileage, the overall results. So coming from me, that would be my opinion. You may have others who opinion differ, but on the 5500, you're going to get a really hard ride out of that thing. And you 53-foot step deck's too much trailer.
He needs to be rescued.
Yeah, so that's a very good point. That's a very good point. So, like with our fleet that we're running right now, if something should happen to your truck and you need to get rescued, I think we have only 2 trucks that could rescue you. So that's something to consider too. Now you can put that behind a semi for sure. But, you got to really consider things out past just what you're going to be able to do, and realize that, you know, you're not going to be able to haul any more weight. Matter of fact, you may lose weight with that 53, and you're definitely going to lose fuel mileage, both loaded and unloaded. So you have to consider that. So if you want my recommendations, you said, how do I feel about it? I don't feel good about it. I would recommend that you not do that 53-foot step deck. I think it's too much trailer for the truck. Okay. I hope that helped you out, Sinead. Chris Golden. Looks like I already goofed up. I bought a expensive 2350 dually. Blew up. Okay. But I had to get out of the first loan. Moving forward, would you recommend paying down the note first to reduce my monthly payment? Chris, you're already in a shit sandwich with that. Okay. So this is what I would recommend. Run the numbers like you've got the numbers now and see because paying down the note early is just paying down the note early. Those monthly payments never change. You can't really, if you try to refinance a truck, what happens is you end up in a secondary or third market in financing, because now it's considered a used truck. Okay. So the interest rates go through the roof. So where you're at now is probably where you're going to be. And you're going to have to figure out how to work around that nut and maybe shave something off somewhere else. But understand that there are 2024 Ram 3500s out there right now, tradesmen, just like I bought for $58,000. Brand new. They're still there. They're still floating around. And if you can find one and grab one, that's the way to do it. But keeping your overhead low going into this thing is extremely important. Extremely important, because cash flow is king. All right. What you got? Shah, thank you for your input. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're welcome. Nothing else. All right. So, guys, if you have questions, let's go ahead and throw them up there real quick. We'll give it a couple more minutes to see what we come up with. But ask, if you got questions, reach out. We are here to help if we can, and I'll help you if I can. The key is try to do as least amount of damage as possible before you dive into this thing. Because once you dive in and you hit the brakes and you go, oh shit, I wish I hadn't done that. But one thing I've always done, now I've bought several houses in my life. I've bought vehicles, I've started businesses, I've done this stuff. But the one thing I've always done was try to keep my overhead as low as possible. Because there was something in my heart that said, hey, if something happens, I want to make sure that I can go to McDonald's and pay this, or I can sell it and get out from under it. Those are the things you want to look at. And that's just being tight, I guess. I'm just kind of squeaky when I walk, and you need to be thrifty, because if, like I said, that money will be away from you quickly, very quickly, and it won't be there. So try to do the best you can. And if you need anything, you can reach out to me. We are leasing on. We do have dispatch spots. So if you guys are looking for either, you can reach out to me and I can help you out. You can go to dd214transport.com, click on the lease on button, fill out that form, and I'll reach back out to you. But the big things I want you to take from this is that you're not starting a job. You have to understand that when you stop work, the first year or two, you have to bust your ass and really hustle and make things happen. And be a student of this. This is not something that you can just fumble your way through, because they'll put you out of business. The FMCSA will shut you down. Absolutely. And if they don't shut you down, your insurance costs will go through the roof. Remember, legal, safe, profitable. If you're not the first two, you'll never be the last. And I promise you that, because it just won't work for you. Now, we don't have anything else. We are going to call tonight. I really appreciate your questions. Appreciate you guys showing up. If you need anything, please reach out. Love your family. This is Bryan with DD214 Transport. Hope this helps, and hit the like, subscribe button, and we're out of here. Appreciate you. Bye.
Jeans and a 4x4, cruising down to your front door. I'm a postage pack and a whiskey neat, some dive bar right up the street. I'm a good old boy and a country star. No one else can go this far. Come on, babe, go with me, riding high, living free. Don't ask once and don't think twice, 'cause baby, I'm living the life. I'm a western swing on an old jukebox, a tailgate party in a parking lot. I'm rowdy, rough, big and grown. I get it done all on my own. I'm a good old boy and a country star. No one else can go this far. Come on, babe, and go with me, riding high, living free. Don't ask once and don't think twice, 'cause baby, I'm living the life. I'm a cowboy hat, a ripped up shirt, tractor pulling out in the dirt. Hot cup of coffee with a cigarette, pretty little thing sitting on my hip. I'm a good old boy